Dave Huxtable. You're the first polyglot billionaire. What's the secret of your success?
Well, in large part, speech sounds. People were building media empires, online sales, electric cars, and so on. But I realized early on the future was all about phonetics and phonology. Forget bricks and mortar. Consonants and vowels. That's what it's all about.
Which are your favorites?
Well, there's a whole succession of them, really. It started off with French. You've got the R sounds. Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. And the nasal vowels. Un, on. I didn't realize the last two were different until I was in my 20s. I used to tell people I was from Londres instead of Londres. They thought I meant Les Landes, which is a department in southwestern France. So en and on are very different. Pendre and fondre don't rhyme.
Then you learned German?
Yeah, nothing too exotic there, but I do like the sp and st consonant clusters. Viel Spaß an der Straßenbahnhaltestelle. Italian consonant clusters are fun too, especially the voiced ones. Zb, zdz, g, etc. You don't get those in English. No words like zbot or zdring. We don't have sr, let alone zr. Ho srollato l'asciugamano sullo sdraio sbagliato. It's wonderful stuff. Though, of course, when it comes to consonant clusters, Slavonic languages are at a whole new level. One of my favorite words in Russian for that is vzgliad, which means view. V, Z, G, L, and J are like V, Z, G, L, and Y all together before you even get a shot at a vowel. Vzgliad. Oh, sorry, I've got to take this.
戏就戏，你好，不好意思，我现在不太方便接电话，正在拍视频，非常抱歉啊，好，感谢您的理解，好，再见。
Sorry about that.
No problem. So that was Chinese?
Yes.
Any favorites there?
Yes, the vowel which is quite unusual. Generally speaking, if you ever can generalize about language, back vowels tend to have rounded lips. So you've got u in English, u in French, u in Spanish, etc. So the Chinese is in the same place more or less as o, but with spread lips. So It's spelt with an E in some contexts in Pinyin, and it's often pronounced as a diphthong, with the tongue moving towards the center. You find it in words like 恶心, which means disgusting. On its own, as it means hungry, and 俄语 means Russian, as in the language.
Hey Dad, the chopper's ready to take us to the plane.
Thank you, I'll be right there. Do you like California?
Oh, yes.
Great, come along for the ride. We can continue this on the plane.
In your recent TED Talk, you mentioned a Welsh sound as one of your favorites. Do you speak Welsh?
Yes, sadly not yet. I learned a bit once when I went on holiday to Anglesey as a teenager. I got a book called Teach Yourself Living Welsh. It had such useful phrases as Mae Gwen and a Gegin Fach. Gwen is in the scullery. They also did a Teach Yourself Welsh without the living part. Imagine how old-fashioned that must have been. Yes, so one of my favourite sounds is the Welsh spelled double L. So you put your tongue in the position for L and then expel a heavy stream of air which causes friction. A lot of people mispronounce it as cl or chl, but it's the town of Llanfairpwll is in Anglesey, so I went there. Taron Egerton and Naomi Watts they both used to live there at one point, so I promised to give them a shout out. Hi Naomi, it's my Taron Sitwiti. You also get it in lots of languages in North America. So, for example, Navajo for horse is Hli, Nahuatl for city is Ahtepetl, and Greenlandic for house is Ichlu, which is cognate with igloo. Zulu and Xhosa have it too. Zulu for tree is Isihlahla. In ancient Hebrew, the letter Shin was pronounced Thin, which makes the story of the Shibboleth more interesting. The Gileadites wanted to kill the Ephraimites. Fair enough. And they asked them to say Shibboleth. 42,000 people were killed for saying it wrong, which was quite an incentive to quickly study some phonetics. I imagine there was suddenly a huge black market for cassettes of Teach Yourself Living Welsh. Another cool Welsh sound is r, which is spelt RH. It's a rolled r, but without the voicing. December is Rhagfyr. The seaside town known as Rhyl in English is Achryl in Welsh.
Thank you all for being here, and to those watching at home or in your office or on the toilet, I couldn't have got where I am today without your support. I therefore ask you to like this video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, family, and those social media people you keep meaning to delete because you have no idea who they are. I would love to have the resources to end world hunger, provide educational opportunities to disadvantaged kids, and stop climate change. Failing that, I'd quite like to take some of my mates into space for a few minutes. With your help, I can do that. Thank you once again, and goodbye.